Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is July 7th. We got to go over our June Player of the Month. The home run derby field is set, and we've got a lot to go over. Let's do it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today? Happy 4th of July for all of you Americans. We've got another series recap to go over. We've got some player of the months for the month of June. We're halfway through the year. We've got one more series left before the All-Star break. We're at the halfway point of the season, and things are getting interesting. Which teams will make the postseason? Who will miss out? Who will win awards? All that fun stuff coming up throughout the rest of the year. Yeah, I guess I'm a little too excited here. Right now, we should be focusing on the All-Star break. But yeah, we're going to dive into our player of the month, start with that as we usually do, then turn over to our series recap. We won't be doing the stat leaderboard today. We're going to skip that for this week just because we've got a pretty filled episode and I want to keep things kind of around the 40-minute mark max. So we're going to skip on that today and do that next time. But yeah, let's dive into our player of the months. Yeah, we'll start with that. As usual, we'll begin with the AL. We'll go with my picks for the AL and the NL, and then we'll review MLBs and see, their players as well as their team of the month. So starting off with the AL, we've got the catcher position, and it is going to be the same guy, Jonah Heim. He's been really good. In the month of June, 6 home runs, 17 RBIs, an OPS of 849. He's the all-star starter for a reason. He's done a really good job. For the Rangers, part of the reason why they're such a good team. So Jonah Heim is your catcher. First baseman, there wasn't really a whole lot of great selections, but I found Josh Naylor to have a really good month of June. He had 18 RBIs. His OPS was 923. He averaged 370 throughout the month of June, so very good for him. Very good for the Guardians in general. We've got a couple Guardians on the list of the player of the month for AL, and yet they're not really doing so well. Interesting. Second baseman Brandon Drury with your Angels. He kind of went down a little bit towards the end of the month here on the IL. But for the beginning of the month, he was pretty solid. 5 home runs, 18 RBIs, an OPS of 908. Some would argue Marcus Semien, but I think Brandon Drury, just for the way he's been playing, deserves to be the player of the month for June there. For third baseman, it is clear, we have a clear one there. Jose Ramirez, 7 home runs, 23 RBIs, an OPS of 1.030. Jose Ramirez has been on a tear recently. I mean, the Guardians as a whole have, these players that are starting to look really good. They don't have to compete for the wild card. They have to compete for the division, and the only team ahead of them is the Twins. So, it's definitely in reach for the Guardians with half the season left to go. For shortstop, Corey Seager, he's been healthy and he has been crushing the ball. He is going to be your AL shortstop starter. 5 home runs, 25 RBIs, an OPS of 1.084. He's been very, very good for the Rangers as well. Moving on, Luis Robert Jr. is one of the outfielder spots. He had a fantastic month of June and ended it very hot. 11 home runs, 16 RBIs, an OPS of 1.041. A very good ball player. He's had a really good year. Over 25 home runs. He's been doing really well, even though the White Sox have not. Teoscar Hernandez joins him with 6 home runs, 18 RBIs, an OPS of 949. A slower start for Teoscar Hernandez, going from the Blue Jays to the Mariners, new team. So I had to get familiar with it for a little bit, but he's starting to find his groove. He's a 2-time Silver Slugger, and gets a player of the month for me here. And lastly, Will Brennan from the Guardians. There wasn't really a whole lot of nice outfielders, but I thought Will Brennan had a little month here. 3 home runs, 14 RBIs, an OPS of 892. Really good strong stuff there from Brennan. Moving along, we got our starting pitcher. This one's always tricky, and the AL didn't have a lot of great starting pitchers in terms of ERA or wins or strikeouts. But overall, the best one probably to me was Kevin Gausman. He was 4-1 in the month of June, a 2.97 ERA, and recorded 50 strikeouts. He and Strider have been kind of the leading the league in the strikeouts for AL and NL. So Gosman's been very good. He gets my vote for the starting pitcher for the month of June. For the rookie for the month of June, we went with Gunnar Henderson, 320 average, 994 OPS, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs. He has been very good. And he's gotten things going for him. He was really cold to start the season in April and a little bit into May, but he's caught hot quick and he has been playing a great brand of baseball. And then for our special slash DH, it is clearly going to be Shohei Ohtani, 394 average, 1.444 OPS, 15 home runs, and 29 RBIs. Ohtani has been on an absolute tear, really good June for Ohtani. He's turned it on and has become a leader in many different categories. And yeah, very good stuff from Ohtani there. Those are your AL players of the month, according to myself. Moving along, we've got our NL players of the month, and we'll start with catcher as well. And despite limited playing time and not as much games as other guys, I went with Patrick Bailey from the Giants. 3 home runs, 14 RBIs, and an OPS of 899. Will Smith and JT Realmuto also had pretty good months, but I felt that Bailey had, even though limited playing time, really good numbers to back up those, extra games that the Smith and Realmuto might have gotten. So Patrick Bailey is my NL catcher. Moving on to first baseman Matt Olson from your Braves, 11 home runs, 25 RBIs, a 992 OPS. He had a wonderful month of June, a lot of home runs, part of the reason why the Braves have been so good as of late. Quick mention to Christian Walker, he had a very good month as well, but Matt Olson definitely had the better month. Moving along, second baseman, the Diamondbacks, Ketel Marte, 7 home runs, 22 RBIs, an OPS of 1.040, 40 right there. Ketel Marte, Diamondbacks, they've kind of cooled off a little bit from that early magic kind of month of May, early June. They're only half a game up now over the Dodgers for the NL West, but Marte has been a staple. We remember him very fondly in the 2019 year. He had a really good year that year. I think it was top 5 in MVP voting, top 10 even. But yeah, he's had a very good month of June and has been a reason why the Diamondbacks have been doing so well. So he gets our NL second baseman player of the month for June. Moving along, third baseman, the Cardinals have one good thing going for them, and that's Nolan Arenado. 7 home runs, 18 RBIs, an OPS of 967. He and Goldschmidt are pretty much the only players doing anything on the Cardinals. Other players have their success here and there, but that Cardinals team does not look good, and we'll talk about them more later on. But he is our third baseman for the month of June there. Shortstop, the rookie for the Reds, Matt McClain, just edges Ellie De La Cruz, another Reds rookie for shortstop. Matt McClain, 5 home runs, 19 RBIs, an OPS of 881, the same OPS as Ellie. But Matt McClain has been really good. Now he's got some competition on his own team for that Rookie of the Year title, but he has had a really good month. He was the Rookie of the Month, Rookie of the Month for May last month. Jesus Christ. But I felt like he deserved his own little sign here. Shortstop, the class has not been too great, despite all the talented names like Lindor and Swanson. But Matt McClain definitely deserved it. He had a good month of June, and that is why he's my pick for shortstop. Moving along to the outfield, there's one that is clear as day, and his name is Ronald Acuna Jr. At this point, he's going to win NL MVP if he can stay healthy and continue to put up numbers like he has, averaging 356, an OPS of 1.111, 9 home runs, 22 RBIs, and 14 stolen bases. He is on the verge on doing some incredible things, and so are the Braves in general. They've had a wonderful first half. And speaking of the Braves, joining Acuna in the outfield is one of his teammates, Eddie Rosario, 9 home runs, 22 RBIs, and an OPS of 1.115. The Braves, we're talking about the Braves in this episode, about how good they've been. They have been wonderful. They were on an 8-game winning streak and then lost that one game to the Reds and then went on a 9-game winning streak. That's like 18-1 in their last some odd game. So it's very impressive what the Braves have been doing. So Eddie gets the nod there. And then joining those two in the outfield, another Reds player, Jake Fraley, from the Reds, 6 home runs, 15 RBIs, an OPS of 1.126. Just like Patrick Bailey, he's had limited playing time, and you could argue that there is guys more deserving than him. But I think the numbers that he's put up in such a small, 15, 16 game span, unlike someone who played like 23, 24, Fraley has definitely put up some really impressive numbers for the month, which is why I let him be my pick for the last outfielder spot for the NL side. And we'll jump now to the starting pitcher. And this one is clear as day. Blake Snell has been dominant his last 6 or 7 starts. And for the month of June, he was incredible. 3-1, an ERA of 0.87 and 53 strikeouts. Very impressive month from Blake Snell. He's been very good. As of late, one of the shining spots in that Padres team. Also want to mention Clayton Kershaw. He was 4-0 with an ERA of 1.09, 30 strikeouts. So definitely the runner-up there, but Blake Snell was definitely on another level. He is your starting pitcher for the NL side of things. For the rookie, Corbin Carroll remains there, averaging 291, an OPS of 979, 8 home runs, 22 RBIs, and 8 stolen bases. Hopefully he's healthy, and hopefully he can continue to do great things for the Diamondbacks. I love this guy. Got to get a jersey of him. Everything about him is wonderful to watch. So I'm a big Corbin Carroll guy. Happy to see him here. Hopefully he is healthy and he can keep it up and win NL Rookie of the Year. Moving on, our last thing here, our special/DH. For the NL side, I went more on the special side because I just wanted to add a 4th outfielder, and it had to be Mookie Betts. And the reason why I think it's special is because Mookie Betts, 9 home runs, 22 RBIs, 1.036 OPS, and I didn't really hear no one talk about it. Mookie Betts has been such a great player for such a long time that numbers like that, no one blinks an eye because that's just Mookie. It's what he does. He's an athlete. You've seen this guy play darts. You've seen this guy bowl. You see him at shortstop. You see him at second base. He plays everywhere. He does it all. He's a wonderful player. The Dodgers are extremely lucky to have him, and I just thought he deserved a mention here. So he is going to be my special player of the month and take that last spot there on the NL side of things, and that will wrap up our NL players of the month. And now we'll take a quick look at MLB's Players of the Month, starting off with the AL. Shohei Ohtani, again, 394 average, 144 OPS, 15 home runs, 29 RBIs, no doubt about it. For the NL Player of the Month, it is Ronald Acuna Jr., 356 average, 1.111 OPS, 9 home runs, 22 RBIs, 14 stolen bases. Very good months. Both those guys deserve the top honors. Moving along for the pitchers, they have the same pitcher as Blake Snell for the NL side, 3-1, 0.87 ERA, 53 strikeouts. But for the AL pitchers, they have James Paxton, 3-0, 1.74 ERA, and 34 strikeouts. I did see the Paxton numbers. However, when I look at the stats, when I do these things, I look at the qualified players. And James Paxton, I didn't see him there. So, whether it was he only played 3 games or whatever it was, MLB decided to go with him, and I respect the decision because he definitely had a good month. Red Sox have been playing well, and it's good to see James Paxton again back and healthy, so congratulations to him. Their rookie for the AL, Gunnar Henderson, and their rookie for the NL, Corbin Carroll, same as mine. And then their relievers. For the reliever on the AL side, they have Felix Bautista, 10 2/3 innings pitched, 0.84 ERA, 22 Ks and 7 saves. And the reliever for the NL side, Craig Kimbrell, 13 innings pitched, 0.69 ERA, 21 Ks and 5 saves. Those are their players there. And when you look at their team of the month for June, their catcher, Jonah Heim, first baseman, Matt Olson, second baseman, Luis Arias, shortstop, Corey Seager, third baseman, Jose Ramirez, left fielder, Eddie Rosario, center fielder, Luis Robert Jr., right fielder, Ronald Acuna Jr., DH, Shohei Ohtani, starting pitcher, Blake Snell, and relief pitcher, Felix Bautista. So very similar to what I had. I think the only guy that stands out here is Luis Arias. I think Ketel Marte had the better month there, but even then, so he makes their MLB cut. And those are the MLB players of the month for the month of June. And let's dive in now to our series recap. Leading us off and diving on in, we've got the Oilers at the Yankees, and they'll play a 4-game set. And the Birds have a 3-run lead, but the Yankees crack into that with 2 home runs from Anthony Volpe and Kyle Higashioka. It would eventually tie the game, which set the stage for Harrison Bader to crank a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 8th to help give the Yankees the win in the opener, 6-3. In the second game, Gleyber got the Yankees started early with a 2-run home run, but the O's would respond and tie the game in the 5th with 2 home runs from Aaron Hicks against his former team and Adam Frazier. The Yankees would get the lead back, and eventually in the 7th, after a home run from Jose Trevino, were able to hold the O's as they take another game, winning it 8-4. In the third game, the Oilers do it again. They call up another kid. This time it's Colton Cowser, who would get an RBI single for his first major league hit of his career and get his first RBI, which would crash in the first Oilers run, the first Oilers run-in, which was followed by a 2-run triple from Jordan Westberg, another one of their kids. Anthony Volpe would homer in the 8th to cut the lead to 1, but in the 9th, Ryan O'Hearn hits a 2-run shot to give the Oilers some insurance. As they hold on and take the third game, they win it 6-3. And in the final game, the Oilers score 7 runs in the third inning and follow that up with 5 runs in the 4th. Gunnar Henderson would homer twice in the game as the Oilers blow out the Yankees and split the 4-game set 2 apiece, winning it 14-1. The Rangers in Boston taking on the Red Sox, and in the first game, Dane Dunning has been really impressive this year and continued that with another nice start. And as usual, he had help from the Rangers offense. Mitch Garver hits a 3-run home run. The Rangers get the first game. They win it 6-2. In Game 2, the Red Sox score a quick pair of runs versus John Gray early, which helped them get the jump on the Rangers as Boston evens the series with the win. They take it 4-2. And in the final game, the rubber match, after a back-and-forth game, the Red Sox get sparked in the 7th by scoring 6 runs in the inning, which would definitely be the difference in the game as Boston wins it. They take the series, beating Texas 10-6. Moving along, we've got the Phillies and the Rays for 3, and in the first game, Aaron Nola would be dominant as the Rays couldn't touch him. Meanwhile, on the other side, Zach Eflin wouldn't be much luckier as he gave up 2 runs in a losing effort as the Phillies take the opener 3-1. Zach Eflin facing his former team for the first time. In Game 2, a couple of Philly home runs from Trey Turner and Nicholas Castellanos would be the difference, as 4 Philly hitters would have 3 or more hits in the game, resulting in another win as Philadelphia takes it 8-4. And in the final game, the teams traded home runs as Derek Hall and Randy Arozarena both go deep in the 5th. We would stay this way heading into extras, where the Phillies would score 2 runs and hold the Rays as the Phillies come to town and sweep the best team in baseball. They beat the Rays 3-1. Blue Jays and the White Sox, Game 1 of 3. And the Blue Jays get on the board first with a 2-run double from Whit Merrifield, but in the bottom of the 6th, Luis Robert Jr. would get a 3-run home run and flip the script as the Sox would take the lead, but the Blue Jays fans could rest easy as their star Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit a 2-run home run in the top of the 8th to put the Jays back in front. Romano would hold the White Sox as the Blue Jays win the first game 4-3. In Game 2, we had rain on Wednesday, which caused for a doubleheader on Thursday, and it was a pitcher's duel between Lance Lynn and Jose Barrios, both going 7 innings. Lance Lynn with 11 Ks. We were scoreless for the whole game, and that sent us to extras, where it was still that way until the 11th inning, where we finally get a first run. And not only did we get 1, but the Blue Jays rallied for 6 runs in the top of the 11th, and they put this game out of reach. The White Sox would get 2. Blue Jays win it 6-2. And in that final game, Matt Chapman goes yard. Whit Merrifield, he hits 2 home runs in the game for his 3rd and 4th of the year. The White Sox would have the lead on an Eloy Jimenez 2-run home run, but the second Witt home run would tie things up in the 6th inning. Jump to the 7th, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hits a double that cashes in the go-ahead run and what would eventually end up being the winning run, as the Blue Jays would hold the Sox from there as they come to Chicago and sweep the White Sox, winning it 5-4. The Royals and Twins for a series here, tied at 3 in the first game. Eduardo Julian would hit a go-ahead home run in the bottom of the 8th for his 5th of the year, and the Twins would pile it on in the inning, scoring 4 more runs and putting this one out of reach as they take the opener, winning it 8-4. In Game 2, a Max Kepler 3-run home run would give the Twins a 4-run lead. Bobby Witt Jr. would cut the lead in half after hitting a 2-run home run, but the Twins would respond with back-to-back home runs from Donovan Solano and Byron Buxton. As the Twins would win this one too, they take it 9-3. And then in the last game, Pablo Lopez would do it for the Twins, throwing a complete game shutout, striking out 12 Royals in the process. Eduardo Julian and Ryan Jeffers hit home runs in the game as the Twins win it. They sweep the Royals 5-0. The Braves and the Guardians, and in the first game, the Braves ride Michael Harris II as he goes deep twice alongside a home run from Marcelo Zuna. The Braves come to town and continue to win their 9th straight win, and they're 18-1 in their last 19 games. They take it 14-2. In the second game, Ozzie Albies would tie the game with a 2-run home run in the 5th inning, and the Braves would add 2 more runs for a 4-run 5th and take the lead. The Guardians would tie it up and take the lead in the 7th thanks to Ahmed Rosario hitting one out. Down to the last inning, the Braves would tie the game on an Ozzie Albies 2nd home run of the game and send this one to extras, where the hero was David Fry for the Guardians as he got the single to cash in the winning run. As the Guardians celebrate and end the Braves winning streak at 9, they take it 6-5. And in the rubber match, the Braves scored 4 runs in the first inning to jump them out front to an early lead, and would follow that by hitting some home runs throughout the game as Sean Murphy, Austin Riley, and Matt Olson all go yard. The Braves cruise for the series win. They take it 8-1. The A's and Tigers in a series here, and in the first game, the pitchers were dealing as Tarek Skubal pitched 4 innings, allowing no hits and striking out 6, and that was followed by Reese Olson, who got the other 5 innings with 1 hit and 5 Ks. On the other end for Oakland, J.P. Sears had the best game of his career, going 7 1/3 innings, pitched 5 hits and 4 Ks. We would be scoreless and need extras. In the top of the 10th, Ryan Noda delivers a base hit to score the game's only run, as the A's would hold on and beat the Tigers, winning the opener 1-0. In Game 2, Oakland put the hitting shoes on as Ryan Noda, Shea Langelaris, and Jordan Diaz all hit home runs, and before you knew it, it was 12-0. The Tigers would score a few runs late to avoid the shutout, but Oakland wins this one easily, 12-3. And in the final game, the Tigers use 4 pitchers, including their all-star Michael Lorenzen, who goes 5 innings to blank the A's, while they go on to score 9 runs as they avoid the sweep to the A's and win the last game 9-0. The Rockies and the Astros will play a quick 2-game set here, and Gray Kessinger hits his first MLB home run for the Astros to get them started. Corey Julks would go 4 for 5 with an RBI as the Astros stay in front for most of the game and beat the Rockies 4-1. And in the second game, Yanyer Diaz muscles up for 2 home runs in the game, bringing his total to 10 on the year. Jeremy Pena would join him with his 10th home run of the year. The Astros take it and sweep the 2-game set versus Colorado, winning it 6-4. Now we'll continue on here with the Reds and the Nationals, and they'll play a 4-game set. And the difference in the first game was a Joey Votto 2-run home run for his 4th of the year. The Reds take it, they win it 3-2. In the second game, Ellie De La Cruz and Spencer Steer both go 4 for 4, while Nick Senzel hits a home run and Jonathan India would hit 2 home runs in the game for a total of 13 on the year. As the Reds keep on cruising, they win it 8-4. In the third game, Ellie De La Cruz had his bat checked by Davey Martinez, and his next at-bat after that, he hits a home run to extend the Reds' lead. Joey Votto also homers in the game as the Reds continue to put it on, winning another 9-2. And the final game, jumping to the end of this one, the Reds down a run in the 8th, and Joey Votto gets an RBI single to tie the game up and send us to extras, where Nick Senzel crushes a 2-run home run to put the Reds up in the 10th, and they hold the Nats to 1 run as the Cincinnati Reds get a 4-game sweep over the Nationals. They win it 5-4. The Cardinals and the Marlins, they would play for, and what a series this would be. The Marlins would have an early lead, but Wilson Contreras hits a solo shot to tie the game up, and that would take the lead. But the Marlins have been good and are able to tie the game back up on a 2-run double from Yuli Gurriel, and then take the lead on a single from Nick Fortes as the Marlins beat the Cardinals in the opener, winning it 5-4. In Game 2, Jesus Sanchez would get the party started with a 3-run home run in the first. Garrett Cooper would follow that up with a home run of his own, and there would be base hit after base hit after base hit as the Marlins 15 straight runs were scored in 8 innings of play. The Cardinals finally scored runs in the top of the 9th, but it was already far too over as the Marlins win another 15-2. Game 3, this was the crazy one. The Marlins would start this game with 4 runs in the first and add 1 more in the second, but the Cardinals would erase all of that by scoring 5 runs in the third, including a Nolan Gorman 2-run home run to tie the game up. But that didn't last long, as in the bottom of the third, Jacob Stallings hits his first home run of the year to put the Finns back in front. Jumping ahead, the Cardinals would be down a run entering the 9th inning, but Jordan Walker with 2 outs crushes a 2-run home run to put the Cardinals out in front. But then it happened in the bottom of the 9th. Joey Wendell put the ball in play, and Jordan Hicks throws the ball way over Paul Goldschmidt's head, which allows 2 runs to score as the Marlins walk it off on the Cardinals' misfortune, as that one play pretty much sums up both teams' seasons. And for the Marlins, this was their 21st 1-run win as they take it 10-9. And in the final game, Jack Flaherty's good start and Nolan Arenado's home run is enough for the Cardinals to take the last game. They avoid the 4-game sweep against the Marlins. They win it 3-0. Cubs and the Brewers will also play 4, and the Cubs would have a 6-0 lead after the first 3 innings, but the Brewers show some fight and score 8 unanswered runs as they come all the way back and steal the first of 4, beating the Cubs 8-6. In Game 2, a Dansby Swanson home run would help put the Cubs up 4 early. Slowly but surely, the Brewers would fight and score 2 runs in the 9th inning to tie the game up and send us to extras, where in the 11th, Nico Horner with the Cubs would drive in a run on a base hit. The Cubs would hold the Brewers and even this series up, winning it 7-6. In the third game, Willy Adames homers in this one to put the Brewers up by 2, but in the 9th inning, Mike Tauchman gets a game-tying 2-run double, and then an error allows 1 more run to score as the Cubs steal this one from the Brewers. They take it 4-3. And in the final game, are we in 2019? Both Cody Bellinger and Christian Yelich are playing well, and both hit home runs in the game. A 3-run shot for Yelich and a 2-run shot for Bellinger. Yan Gomes would hit a game-tying 2-run home run in the 8th for the Cubs, but in the bottom of the 8th, Victor Caratini hit the go-ahead home run to put the Brew Crew back in front and hold the Cubs in the 9th to win the game, as they split the 4-game set 2 apiece, as the Cubs win the meat while the Brewers win the bread. They take it 6-5. Angels and Padres would play 3, and X marks the spot as this series starts with a 3-run home run from Xander Bogaerts, and that would only be the start for the Padres, as they would add on late in this one, including a 2-run triple from Tatis. As the Padres take the opener, they win it 10-3. In Game 2, Xander Bogaerts and Jake Cronenworth hit back-to-back home runs off of Shohei Ohtani, the first time in his career he's allowed back-to-back home runs. Things couldn't get worse for the Halos, as Ohtani would have to leave the game with an apparent injury, and the Angels would end up dropping this game too. They lose it 8-5. And in that final game, Manny Machado solo home run would give the Padres the lead, but Matt Thaiss answered right back to tie this game up with a home run of his own. the Padres would add 2 runs late to take the lead and hold the Angels for the win. The Padres get a much-needed one as they get their first 3-game sweep of the season. They beat up on the Halos and they win it 5-3. The Mariners and the Giants will play 3, and in the first game, Blake Sabol would hit 2 home runs in the game and drive in all 5 of the Giants' runs. However, a big 4-run inning in the 9th from the Mariners, including 2-run double by Julio, put the Mariners on top as they take the first game, winning it 6-5. In Game 2, Logan Gilbert gets a complete game shutout on the 4th of July as Mike Ford and A.J. Pollock would help him out by hitting home runs for the Mariners. They win it 6-0. And in the final game, Alex Cobb pitches 6 scoreless innings for the Giants, who then put up 2 runs on a sac fly and a Mariners error. As the Giants shut out the Mariners, they win the last game and avoid the sweep. They take it 2-0. The Mets and the D-backs would play a series here, and in the first game, many home runs were hit in the opening game. For the Diamondbacks, it was Corbin Carroll, Christian Walker, and Lourdes Gurriel Jr., and for the Mets, it was Starling Marte, Brandon Nimmo, and Francisco Alvarez. And after all of that was said and done, it would be the Mets who come out on top, winning it 8-5. In Game 2, Christian Walker hits another home run as the D-backs would have the 1-run lead for most of the game until the 9th, where Francisco Alvarez hits another home run and ties the game up, and then Mark Canha gets an RBI triple to put the Mets in front as they steal one from the Diamondbacks and win it 2-1. And the third game, Francisco Lindor, what a game. He goes 5 for 5 with a home run and 2 triples. Pete Alonso hits a home run, and so does Francisco Alvarez as he goes deep in each game of the series. The Mets get a very important 3-game sweep over the Diamondbacks. They win it 9-0. In our last series here, we've got the Pirates and the Dodgers. One last 4-game set here, and Max Muncy goes yard for his 19th of the year to get the Dodgers on the board, as they would go on to score 4 more runs in the game. As the Dodgers take the opener, they win it 5-2. In Game 2, the Dodgers hit 4 home runs in the game, 1 from Mookie Betts, 2 from James Outman, and 1 from Johnny DeLuca for his first Major League home run. But even with those 4 home runs, the Pirates find a way to win, including a home run from Jack Sawinski and a 3-run inning in the 9th to take the lead as the Pirates win it 9-7. In the third game, Brian Reynolds and Jack Sawinski hit home runs in the game for all of the Pirates' runs, but the Dodgers answer with a go-ahead 3-run home run from JD Martinez, who goes back-to-back with David Peralta as the Dodgers win this game 6-4. And in the final game, Freddie Freeman and Max Muncy hit the home runs in the game that would help the Dodgers get the win, as Julio Urias has the game that looks more like him from last year. As the Dodgers take 3 of 4 from the Pirates, they win it 5-2. That will do that for the series recap. And for the game of the week, we won't really have one. I'm not going to go over it. But I definitely think if you have not seen the Cardinals and the Marlins game on Wednesday, the way that game ended, the Jordan Hicks era, definitely check it out. It sums up their seasons. As I mentioned, it's pretty upsetting for the Cardinals. I mean, I think their season's done, but that's just me. Moving along now, let's talk some baseball news. The Home Run Derby is set, and we've got all 8 participants lined up. We're going to go over it, and I'm going to give my predictions for who I think will end up winning the games here. Starting off, we have Luis Robert Jr. in the 1 seed, taking on Adley Rutschman in the 8 seed. Adolis Garcia versus Randy Arozarena. Garcia, I believe, is the... Let me see here. Alonso is the 2. I'm not really sure at the seeding, I can't lie. Adolis Garcia versus Randy Arozarena here is another one of those matchups. Let's see here. Yes, Garcia is the 4 and Randy Arozarena is the 5. And then on the other side of the bracket, we have Pete Alonso in the 2 seed versus Julio Rodriguez in the 7 seed. And lastly, Mookie Betts in the 3 seed versus Vladdy Guerrero Jr. in the 6 seed. My prediction for that first game, for that first round, I think Luis Robert beats Rutschman. I think Randy beats Garcia. I think Alonso beats Rodriguez, and I think Guerrero beats on bets. Which means for the second round, we have Luis Robert Jr. versus Randy Arozarena. I will take Randy Arozarena. And on the other side, we have Pete Alonso versus Vladdy Guerrero, a little rematch from 2019. I will take Vlad. And for the finals, that is Randy Arozarena versus Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I will take Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I think he will win the home run derby, and I think that will set him off for a very hot month of July and just, a hot, end of the rest of the season. But that is the home run derby news. Continuing that with some all-star news here, we've got our first set of injured replacements, hopefully the only 5. It starts with Wander Franco. He's in now for Aaron Judge. Kyle Tucker for Mike Trout. Julio Rodriguez for Yordan Alvarez. George Kirby for Shane McClanahan, and then David Bednar for Clayton Kershaw. So those 5 players, so Judge, Trout, Alvarez, McClanahan, and Kershaw all will not be on the team due to their injuries. And Franco, Tucker, Rodriguez, Kirby, and Bednar join the all-star teams from that. So congrats to those guys. It's funny because Trout, Judge, and Alvarez all were the AL, outfield starters. So I'm not sure who's going to be in it now, but I find that very interesting. Another note for the All-Star game, Shohei Ohtani, after he left his start with an injury, apparently, it looks like he'll be okay. It looks like it's just something on his finger, but he said in the interview that he is most likely not going to pitch in the All-Star game, so he will probably only be a DH. We'll get more on Ohtani very shortly here. And now I look at some pretty major injuries. Mike Trout, he went for surgery for a broken hamate bone. It went successful, but he's going to be out 4 to 8 weeks. Jose Altuve with the Astros, he has left oblique discomfort. He's been placed on the 10-day IL. Clayton Kershaw, he has left shoulder soreness. He's on the 15-day IL for the Dodgers there. And more bad news for the Dodgers is Dustin May. He went for surgery on his flexor tendon for his right elbow. He's done for the year. It seems like this guy's always getting some surgery to get him out for the season. And it sucks because when this guy's on the mound, he's very fun to watch. So hopefully Dustin May has a successful rest and will be back and better and healthy for the next season, 2024. The Angels had a rough day on on July 4th, on Americans Day. It started with the Angels announcing that Mike Trout will be getting his surgery, and that he'll be out 4 to 8 weeks. Later on in the game, Anthony Rendon, he fouled a ball off of his leg and left the game there. And then later on in that game, Shohei Ohtani left with the trainer. So basically the 3 best players on the Angels, they all kind of left with injuries. This might be something the Angels have to get through, and it will prove if they're a real deal team or not. But definitely we could see the Angels start to slip here. So unfortunate stuff there. Those are some injuries that we're looking at. One last bit of news here we're going over, and it's going to be about some of the AL East pitchers. Starting with Alek Manoah, he is back. The Blue Jays have recalled him. He had 2 starts, one very poor and one very, decent. And he's going to be back. He's making his start today against the Tigers on the Friday here. So we'll keep an eye on him. Also making a start is Carlos Rodon. He is healthy and he will be making his MLB debut. His debut with the Yankees, his first game of the year. So that's good for the Yankees. But something that is not good for the Yankees, Jimmy Cordero, one of their pitchers, he has been suspended for the rest of the season under the domestic violence policy. There's not much information we can go off of, but he will no longer be playing this season for the Yankees. He has been suspended for what I'm assuming is some sort of domestic violence abuse thing. So we'll see if any more information comes out on that. But those are 3 things to talk about for some AL East pitchers there. Quickly here now, let's go through our hot and cold. Starting off, Matt Olson, 11 for 23, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, 9 runs, an OPS of 1.599. Mookie Betts, 10 for 25, 5 doubles, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, 7 runs, an OPS of 1.475. Jack Sawinski for the Pirates, 9 for 21, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, 6 runs, an OPS of 1.523. Christian Yelich, 11 for 25, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, 11 runs, no strikeouts, and an OPS of 1.317. And lastly here, Cody Bellinger, 15 for 28, a home run, 6 RBI, 7 runs, an OPS of 1.247. Moving on to that cold side now, we've got JD Martinez with the Dodgers, 2 for 28, 12 Ks. Ezekiel Duran, 3 for 21, 10 Ks. Christian Walker, 2 for 23, 10 Ks. Jose Siri, 2 for 15, 8 Ks. And then Martin Maldonado, 0 for 15 with 6 Ks. Those are your hot and cold. And now we'll look at our outstanding performances. We're starting with Jesus Luzardo, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 8 Ks. Aaron Nola, 7 1/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 12 Ks. Kodai Senga, 8 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 12 Ks. Kenta Maeda, 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 9 Ks. Lance Lynn, 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, 11 Ks. Jose Barrios, 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 6 Ks. Carlos Carrasco, 8 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 4 Ks. And then we have our 2 complete game shutouts. Logan Gilbert, 9 innings pitched, 5 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 7 Ks. And Pablo Lopez, 9 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, 12 Ks. Those are your outstanding performances. As mentioned, we will not be going over our stat leaderboard today, so let's get going with our upcoming series. And we're going to start with the Oakland A's. They are in Boston, taking on the Red Sox. We've got the Braves at the Rays, the Cubs at the Yankees, Blue Jays at Tigers, Oilers at Twins, Royals at Guardians, Cardinals at White Sox, Mariners at Astros. That's a circle series right there. Rangers at Nationals, Phillies at Marlins. That's another fun series there. Reds at Brewers, make that a third circle. Angels at Dodgers, Mets at Padres. That's the big one. That's the fourth circle. Pirates at D-backs, and Rockies at Giants. And the last thing to do for today is our playoff predictor. We'll start in the AL as usual. We have a tie for the 6th seed, so a tiebreaker game between the Blue Jays and Yankees, which the Yankees do win. So now for the actual playoffs, Yankees at Twins, which the Yankees win. Astros at Oilers, which the Astros win. So a couple of away teams there. Yankees at Rays, and that game belongs to the Rays. Astros at Rangers, and that will belong to the Rangers. So the 1 and 2 seed, Rangers at Rays, and it's the Rays who go on to the World Series once again. On the NL side, we have a new team. The Phillies are now in the playoff seed. That's the first time they've been in a playoff predictor. They're going up against the Reds, and they will win. So they're off to the division series. Dodgers and Marlins, and the Dodgers win that. So all 4 wildcard teams, the away team wins those. Phillies at Braves, and that belongs to the Braves. Dodgers at Diamondbacks, and that belongs to the Diamondbacks. So again, very similar. The 1 and 2 seed, the Diamondbacks at the Braves, and it is the Braves who win. So the 1 seeds take off in the World Series, match up the Braves and the Rays, and this time it's the Braves who win it. They are your 2023 champions. So congrats to them, and congrats to anybody who's sticking around this long for today's episode. We had a lengthy one today, but that's going to do it for us. We've got 1 more series left before the All-Star break. We're almost at the halfway point of the season. Baseball is cooking. It's hot in the streets. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you liked it, please feel free to subscribe. Anything you can do, like the video, support the channel, helps me out, knows that this is something that I can pursue a little bit. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys for 1 more episode on Monday before the All-Star break. Take care.